Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. We are now back in session. Let the record reflect that Councilwoman Hurtak and Councilman Goods are now with us.
Why don't we, if we can, Mr. Chair, just for the sake of the record and the tape, just if we could just take roll call again.
Let's take roll call again.
Carlson? Here. Vieira? Here. Maniscalco? Here. Hurtak?
Here.
Goods?
Here.
Miranda?
Here.
Citro?
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you. Ms. Barnes.
Annie Barnes, Development Coordination. There needs to be a waiver added between first and second reading if approving this rezoning, specifically to section 27-132 regarding off-street parking. The property, it says, must be used for commercial parking, must be immediately adjacent, not separated by the street right of way from the commercial use it will serve. So a waiver will be needed, or is needed, between first and second reading if approving the application.
Thank you.
We can only see Councilman Vieira very, very tight right now.
I know, it's like awkward. I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay. So can you see this presentation on your screens? Okay.
we can only see Lou's.
Go ahead.
Okay. So this next slide didn't quite age very well because we now will have a waiver added between first and second reading, but all of the City of Tampa reviewing staff did find this application consistent. And I wanted to give a little bit of additional background on the Planning Commission finding, and Sam did a really great job with this too. This is just a technicality based on the fact that the emergency shelter is not a definable use, or it's a definable use, but it's not a listed use in the city's table 4-1. As noted, this is an existing use carried forward from REZ 1924. We're not proposing an expansion of this use over the 2 new parcels added to the application. Those are commercial parking only. And then Sam mentioned this as well, but Planning Commission staff was very supportive of our proposed portion of this application. Again, removing 2 of those curb cuts along Morgan and having that consolidated one off of Henderson. We have sufficient buffering for the site as required, safe pedestrian connections via that crosswalk that we're providing over the new access point. And again, a little bit more of a background, as I promised earlier, on why we need some additional parking. So we're trying to preserve the Holtzinger building for an adaptive reuse. And this building was constructed in 1926. This aerial is from, or this photo is from 1936. And in order to leave this building, we need to find parking elsewhere. The surface lot is 26 spaces that we're proposing. The current site today has 13 spaces. So if we're, redeveloping this to some form of office use, we would be required 80 spaces based off of the square footage of the building. So those additional 26, if approved via this PD tonight, would be very, very helpful in decreasing our degree of a parking reduction that we would eventually need when going to propose a new use for this existing site. And that concludes our presentation, and we can answer any questions that you all might have.
Comments or questions?